What's going on, guys? It's Greg here, aka NYPrepper. It is Wednesday, October 1st, 2025, and I have an emergency alert to share with you guys. Right now it is 14:39 Eastern Time here in the United States, and we have some major breaking news coming in from Ukraine and from here in the United States. So, the Chernobyl nuclear power plant has lost its power supply due to Russian attacks. This is being reported by the Ukrainian Ministry of Energy. So apparently there was some kind of a Russian drone attack on the nearby city of Slavutich, and because of that, the power supply for the Chernobyl and because of that, the power supply to the Chernobyl nuclear power plant was cut. And as a result, the new safe confinement, which is a key facility that isolates the destroyed fourth power unit of the Chernobyl nuclear power plant and prevents the release of radioactive materials into the environment, was left without power supply. Currently, specialists are carrying out work to restore the power supply. This was stated by the Ukrainian Ministry of Energy. Okay. So if you guys remember what happened when Chernobyl melted down, the remnants of that reactor that melted down, the core, is still there. And so about 10 years ago, they built this massive confinement that they slid over that melted down reactor to contain the radiation. Well, apparently that confinement has lost electricity, and the whole power plant has lost electricity as well. So that's very, very concerning. Now, we also have another nuclear power plant in Ukraine that is facing an emergency situation. This is the Zaporizhia nuclear power plant, okay, which is the largest nuclear power plant in Europe. It was taken from Ukraine by the Russians in the first few months of the war, and all the reactors are in a shut down state. However, they still need electricity to maintain the cooling of those reactors and then the spent nuclear fuel. And so, because of Russian attacks, the electricity supply to Zaporizhia has also been cut, and the entire nuclear power plant is running on emergency diesel generators. Okay. And the president of Ukraine, Volodymyr Zelensky, said an emergency situation at Zaporizhia nuclear power plant. The situation is critical due to Russian shelling. The plant is disconnected from power supply and the power grid. And the IAEA specified in its Tuesday statement that the ZNPP is currently operating 8 diesel generators with 9 additional diesel generators in standby mode and 3 in maintenance. So what they've been doing is they've been rotating these diesel generators, keeping some on standby and then some actually creating electricity, and they constantly rotate them out so they don't wear them out, because these diesel generators are not really meant to be a permanent source of power. Okay, they have to be serviced just like any engine. Europe's largest nuclear power plant has been without external power for more than a week now, which is by far the longest lasting such event during more than 3.5 years of war. I'm in constant contact with the two sides with the aim to enable the plant's swift reconnection to the electricity grid. Okay, so that's what the Director General of the IAEA said. He said this is the longest period of time that the Zaporizhia nuclear power plant has been without power. So we have Chernobyl without power and Zaporizhia without power. Okay, these are massive nuclear reactors, especially Zaporizhia, which has 6 reactors plus all the spent fuel pools. Okay, same thing with Chernobyl. Chernobyl has several reactors. Most of them are decommissioned, but they also have spent fuel that they have to keep cool. Okay, and you need electricity to do that. All right. So this is a very, very serious situation. We also have what appears to be a record amount of nuclear war command and control planes up in the air over the United States. Right now, we have 5 Boeing E-6B Mercury nuclear war command and control planes. These are known as TACAMO planes, or take charge and move out. These planes can directly launch our Minuteman III ICBMs from the air. They can also send nuclear codes to our submerged nuclear-armed submarines. What's interesting is one of them was off of the coast of South Carolina. The other one was in the Gulf of America. So 2 of them were definitely communicating with subs this morning. And then we have one heading towards Florida now. We have 2 over the Midwest. This is extremely unusual, guys. The last time I've seen this many nuclear war command and control planes was right before Russia invaded Ukraine. That was the last time I saw this many, and also when Iran attacked Israel for the first time, and around culinary night, I think there were maybe 6 that night. So this is a near record amount of nuclear war command and control planes not seen since culinary night and since Russia invaded Ukraine. Very, very serious. We also currently have 3 B-52 nuclear bombers airborne over Louisiana, which is not a record amount, but it's definitely a lot. You can see all 3 of them here over southern Louisiana. Okay, just doing some, looks like potentially practice runs here. This is very, very concerning. All of these nuclear warplanes, plus the situation at Chernobyl and Zaporizhia. And if that's not bad enough, we also have some major breaking news that NATO is planning to deploy an air defense shield over western Ukraine to intercept Russian missiles and drones, with the potential for further deployment to the capital of Ukraine, Kyiv. According to the UK Telegraph, the proposal was put forward by a group of high-ranking Western politicians and military officials. European leaders will be discussing this issue today at the EU summit in Copenhagen. All right. So Europe and the United States want to basically create a no-fly zone over Ukraine. They want to be able to shoot down Russian missiles and drones over Ukraine. This is something they've wanted to do for a very long time, and it looks like they're finally going to do it now because of all the Russian drone incursions into NATO. All right, so that could potentially escalate the situation into a war, because Russia said if any country shoots down their missiles or drones outside of that country's territory, especially inside of Ukraine, then it's considered an act of war by Russia. Okay, so you see how the escalation ladder continues. We keep going up the escalation ladder. And we have some more breaking news coming in from Poland. Poland is preparing hospitals for war and training medical personnel for deployment in crisis situations and under combat conditions. Even staff training takes place in the hospital basement, where non-sterile conditions typical of wartime are simulated. The head of the military hospital in Lublin explained that every hospital must provide beds in case of war. The local administration is already taking care of this. Okay, so this is big, big news, guys. Poland is preparing their hospitals for war. We know that France has already started doing that. Germany has put out a memo to all their hospitals to get ready for war. So, guys, it's coming, okay? There will be a war. It's not a question of if, it's a question of when, all right? And I think it's very, very soon. It's going to be very soon. And this update was sponsored by EMP Shield. Guys, EMP Shield has created a special discount just for you, the listeners of the NYPrepper channel. If you go to empshield.com and use the promo code NYPrepper, you can get 15% off your entire order. And why do you need an EMP Shield? Well, this is a special device to protect your vehicle, your RV, your solar generators, your radios from an electromagnetic pulse, which could be caused by a solar flare or potentially a rogue country like North Korea detonating an electromagnetic pulse weapon over the United States that's mounted onto a satellite. So protect your vehicles, protect your RV, protect your radios, protect your generators with an EMP shield. Use my promo code NYPrepper to get 15% off. Installation is super simple. This is a veteran-owned business, 100% American-made, and the EMP shields have been tested by the military, okay? And free shipping is included to the entire continental United States. And the link and the promo code are in the description below this video. And the Trump administration has notified Congress via the Arms Export Control Act of their intention to massively expand a multi-billion-dollar critical arms sale for Estonia, initially agreed upon in 2022, drastically increasing long-range firepower intended for NATO's eastern flank. The arms agreement between Estonia and the U.S., now valued at over $4.7 billion, a significant increase from its original value of only $500 million in 2022, would see the sale and delivery of 12 HIMARS rocket systems alongside 200 M57 ATACMS missiles and 1,000 GMLRS rockets, including several with extended range. Okay, so massive upgrade to this arms sale to Estonia from $500 million to nearly $5 billion under the Trump administration. They're going to give Estonia over 1,000 HIMARS rockets and multiple HIMARS systems. Okay, this is another sign that we're getting ready for war with Russia. And yet another sign that we're getting ready for war with Russia. The U.S. has approved the sale of $780 million worth of Javelin missiles to Poland. And if you do the math, one Javelin missile or launcher is about $200,000. So that comes out to nearly 4,000 Javelin missiles and or launchers, okay? So any combination of launchers and missiles, but 4,000, that is absolutely insane, being sold to Poland. And the Chief of Staff for the French Army, General Pierre Schill, has stated that forces must be ready as early as tonight for high-intensity warfare, warning of a potential direct military confrontation in the near future with Russia over the defense of a NATO ally in Eastern Europe. Okay, so the French Army Chief of Staff is saying that NATO has to be prepared for a high-intensity war due to Russia invading a NATO ally, and NATO has to respond. Okay, direct confrontation with Russia in the near future. He's not saying in the distant future. He's not saying in 20 years. He's saying in the near future. Okay, he's talking about months, not years. All right. And we have some major breaking news coming in from Venezuela. Venezuela has closed their airspace along their entire coast from the capital Caracas to Curacao for the next 6 days. The reason is unknown why they did that. Probably has something to do with the U.S. possibly launching an attack. Okay, but their entire coastline has the airspace shut down. There's a NOTAM up. Okay, very concerning. And Trump yet again insulted Putin yesterday at the all-generals meeting when he gave a roughly 45-minute speech to all the generals of the U.S. military, and he said, "I said to Putin, you don't look good. You are 4 years fighting a war that should have taken a week. Are you a paper tiger?" Wow. Okay, so that's what Trump said. And he said some other things at that speech that were basically critical of Putin. And it doesn't look like there's going to be any diplomacy between Trump and Putin, that's for sure. And Putin will be making a major speech in St. Petersburg tomorrow. According to the Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov, he said that the speech will be discussed worldwide. And a senior military official in Israel told the Israeli news outlet Mariv that Israel may have to carry out another strike on Iran. So we have multiple sources now saying that Israel is planning another strike on Iran. Okay, we had the Russian foreign minister say that Israel's planning an attack on Iran a couple of days ago at the UN Assembly. Now we have a senior military official in Israel. So something's about to go down in Iran. And the U.S. Consulate General in Germany has advised U.S. citizens to avoid the Oktoberfest grounds due to a bomb threat. Last night there were some explosions reported in Munich, and now Germany has closed the grounds of the Oktoberfest due to a potential bomb threat. And we are in the beginning stages of a government shutdown, which happened last night at midnight. And under a government shutdown, border protection, in-hospital medical care, law enforcement, and air traffic control would be expected to continue to operate during the shutdown, while Social Security and Medicare checks would still be sent out. Benefit verification and card issuance could stop. Services like the Food Assistance Program, federally funded preschool, the issuing of student loans, food inspections, and operations at national parks are expected to be curtailed or closed. Okay? And authorities in Germany are seriously investigating and working to counter a number of unidentified drone sightings last week over critical sites in the states of Schleswig-Holstein, Western Pomerania, and Mecklenburg-Vorpommern. According to an internal memo seen by Der Spiegel, the sightings, which occurred throughout last week, appear to have been much more serious than was initially reported, with swarms of both large and small drones observed flying in deliberate patterns over and around several military bases and critical infrastructure sites in Schleswig-Holstein, including the ThyssenKrupp plant, Kiel University Hospital, Kiel Canal, Kiel Bay, Heide Oil Refinery, Hamburg Airport, a coastal power plant, and the state parliament headquarters known as the Landeshaus Kiel. In addition to the sightings over Schleswig-Holstein, organized drones were also spotted over a military base for the German Air Force's 21st Anti-Aircraft Missile Group in Sanitz, which trains Ukrainian soldiers on the Patriot system, and the headquarters of German Navy Command in Rostock. Wow. Okay, so very, very concerning. All these large and small drones flying over critical military bases and critical infrastructure, including a base where Germany trains Ukrainians on the Patriot system. So definitely very concerning. And drones were spotted again yesterday in Norway and Sweden. Some of the drones spotted in northern Norway yesterday were in the same area as a few days ago, which is near one of the Norwegian naval bases where they have the sub hunters, and also it hosts U.S. sub hunters as well. And also a new location in southern Sweden reported seeing drones yesterday near the Ronneby Airport, which is on the Baltic Sea. Okay, so Russia is sending a large number of reconnaissance drones into NATO to spy on NATO's military bases, okay, and to cause chaos. And as a result of Ukrainian drone attacks, nearly half of Russia's oil refineries have been forced to halt operations. In September, gasoline output dropped by about 1 million tons, while fuel shortages climbed to around 20%. Wow, that is absolutely insane. And the Institute for the Study of War is saying that Russia and Belarus may conduct special forces sabotage operations against Polish critical infrastructure and blame Ukraine. And France and Ukraine signed an agreement to jointly produce satellites for Ukraine. And Romania and Ukraine will now start jointly developing drones to protect the eastern front of NATO. And the U.S. aircraft carrier Gerald Ford has entered the Mediterranean Sea through the Strait of Gibraltar. And the U.S. and Qatar signed a security agreement today. Under the agreement, an attack on Qatar is treated as a threat to U.S. security. And this happened after the Israeli attack on Qatar that Trump was really mad about, okay? But that's the latest breaking news that I have. I will be back live tonight around 11 p.m. Eastern time, closer to midnight possibly. And I will be back later on tonight, probably closer to 10 or 11 p.m. Eastern time. That's 2200 or 2300 hours Eastern time for live updates and monitoring. So I'll probably see you guys then. And follow me on X. I'm trying to build up my X account. I post some updates there throughout the day and at night. And also check me out on Patreon. It's just $5 a month to get access to all of these updates without any advertisements from YouTube. And you also get access to my text updates. And I also post all these videos to Patreon before I post them to YouTube, okay? So you get access to them before everybody else. And until later on, take care, God bless, and don't forget the 3 Ps. Prepare, practice, and persevere. And this update was sponsored by My Patriot Supply. Guys, My Patriot Supply is doing a massive sale on their 3-month emergency food supply. And to get the deal, you got to go to preparewithNYPrepper.com, and the link is in the description below this video. They're selling their 3-month emergency food supply for just $600, so that's $100 off the normal price. And this is 3 months of food at 2,000 calories per day, has a shelf life of up to 25 years, and all of this is packed into 6 rugged water-resistant buckets, and free shipping is included. And they're also offering a disaster replacement warranty. So if your food supply gets destroyed by a natural disaster, they'll replace it for you with no charge. And they also will provide you with free survival books and information, including a natural disaster field guide, a survival Bible digital copy. So use the link preparewithNYPrepper.com to get $100 off the My Patriot Supply 3-month emergency food supply. And the link is in the description below this video.